I want to bring in now Congressman Adam Smith, Democrat of Washington State and member of the Armed Services Committee, to talk more about this. Congressman, thanks for staying up late for us, sir. I appreciate it. I know that you were not on this call. Your staff was, and you were briefed by it. What can you tell us about what more you have learned?
Well, first of all, the call wasn't classified, so there was a lot of information that the administration was holding back. Obviously, they want to be very careful about releasing the names of Americans who might be being held hostage and giving any information out on that front. It was mostly sort of a policy brief, what the U.S. is doing to respond. And you have three basic goals. One, support Israel any way we can. Second, contain the conflict as best as we can. Working with regional allies is the big part of that. And then third, protecting American lives in the region, making sure that our force posture in the region and working with our allies does everything we can to make sure that Americans in the area are protected going forward.
By containing the conflict, Congressman, are you worried it could feasibly escalate things there as well? I know the president told Prime Minister Netanyahu military assistance, more military assistance is quote unquote on the way. We know the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group is heading to the Eastern Mediterranean as well. With that is an aircraft carrier. Are you worried that could also cause escalation in the region versus just containing?
No, the main escalation concern is Hezbollah to the north. That's been the big focus, is making sure that Hezbollah does not get involved in that conflict. We've been working with people in Lebanon on that part of the focus. That's where the conflict could escalate. We're still also, and again, haven't had a classified briefing, trying to figure out exactly what Iran's role was in this. Clearly, Iran is the #1 backer of both Hezbollah and Hamas, and the weapons and the rockets that were used in this attack, almost undoubtedly came from Iran. What is their role beyond that? What are their plans going forward? That's where the escalation could happen, is if Iran and Hezbollah decide to get more involved in the conflict. And we hope to have our presence and our cooperation with Israel deter either one of those groups from getting more involved.
What are you most worried about with that possibility in mind when we talk about Iran? Because I know you're referring to this new Wall Street Journal reporting, and I think the nuance of this reporting is important, right? Because we know Iran has been fighting these proxy wars via Hamas and Hezbollah for a very long time. It is the degree to which they may have been involved here, which is more problematic than anything, considering this reporting that we have not confirmed here at NBC News. But if, in fact, it is confirmed that Iran is involved, to the degree to which this Wall Street Journal reporting is saying, what could a conflict look like with Iran? Would that mean conflict between Israel and Iran directly, and then subsequently, as you put it, Israel's strongest ally, the United States?
Well, two things about this. First of all, the timing almost certainly has to do with Iran being worried about the growing closeness between Israel and Arab states. There's an ongoing effort right now to get a peace deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia. We've already seen the expansion of the Abraham Accords to a number of different countries. I think clearly Iran had an interest in disrupting that. Now that the reports that we've gotten, from Saudi Arabia, from the UAE and others, is that they're not backing off of their efforts to get to peace agreements and hold on to those peace agreements with Israel. But Iran trying to blow that apart is one big concern. And then the second is, again, Hezbollah. Now, what might they do coming down from the north, from their stronghold in Lebanon and also Syria? That's where this could expand. Now, again, the early reports are that all of those allies are, they're not backing off from their desire to get to a more peaceful relationship with Israel or their concerns about Iran. But clearly, and I haven't gotten a classified brief on this yet, so I can't say for sure, but I think it is quite reasonable to assume that Iran wanted to upset that process. And that was a big part of why this attack happened.
Wouldn't it be problematic, though, Congressman, if in fact this reporting is accurate, that both U.S. intelligence and Israeli intelligence would not have picked up on Iran's direct involvement in a planning of an attack to this magnitude?
Absolutely. I mean, that's very troubling. Yeah, and look, one aspect of this that hasn't been talked about, and our focus is on protecting Israel, dealing with the attack that they've faced and what might come forward. But look, we've been working with Israel for a long time on Netanyahu's obsession with expanding into the West Bank. Yeah, that has unnecessarily, I believe, distracted Israel from where the real threat is, Hezbollah and Hamas. So we're going to have some detailed conversations about that going forward to try to make sure Israel's in the best possible position to defend itself.
Congressman, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.